one earlier today, John.
And then I probably have, because my computer hasn't been plugged in all day, so I suspect I've got something. Okay. Welcome to the CEFACT Global Trust Registry Project meeting on this gloriously sunny afternoon of autumn, 30th of April 2026 here in Australia, and I actually ran the rest of the world at this time of day.
It's not autumn, but that's okay.
Yes, sorry, it's not what?
It's not autumn, but that's okay. Yeah.
Well,
it's spring.
It's winter now, is it, Joe, or something?
It's spring in
I know. I said autumn in Australia.
Oh.
I mean, I know. I'm
spring in Europe.
I get heckling. All right, Joe, look at the code of conduct, mate. Come on.
I'm trying to be good.
All right. Okay, we all know the code of conduct. We don't need to dwell on that. And I haven't changed any of this agenda content, really. It's the same now pattern about what did we do last time, what have we got in our issue log, what's happened sort of since then, that kind of stuff. So we have only one, and we may as well go straight to an order of business, Alina, because what we have in our merge request is one merge. And that merge is to include the definition you gave us for the digital identity anchor to be put into the glossary. So this merge is the one I'm bringing up on the screen right now. It's the changes associated with this merge are here. So that's the only change. It's like one change in one file, and it's replacing this red text with this green text. You know, superficially, I'm very pleased to see that the green text has only 3 lines and the red text has 4. So that's a good step forward. But I think actually it's got a much better set of words inside the definition for the digital identity anchor. Coincidentally, Brett Hyland saw this definition during the early part of the week, and he quite liked it too. He's a very economical with his words. He said, "I can live with this." That's not exactly enthusiastic, right? So I think if you're okay with what that definition says, because it is actually the words I think you provided us, Alina, we should probably go ahead and merge it.
I don't know whether, because I have received a document from Hans with a proposal.
Oh, only you have. I haven't, have I?
I think it's the same that he was commenting.
So Hans is, I would suggest we should.
Because I told him to post it in comments, otherwise it's useless. But maybe yes. he have, and I did not see it. So
I haven't seen any. Well, we can look at there's nothing in the issue log from Hans. There's no issues raised by Hans,
but it's not online now, so I don't know whether he would have anything else, any other comment or anything else to.
So Sankishan, do you want to suggest something? I'm just going to. My dog's just started barking.
Okay. I was going to suggest if it was okay to merge what we have, and then on the merge, consider what Hans has suggested, and then kind of either create a new issue or figure out what to do. Otherwise, there is a chance that we'll continue to sort of play around with words and not make much progress.
Yeah, but I think it would be a bit sad not to consider at least the changes he's proposing, though I told him like not to send, instead of sending me to comment directly on, otherwise it's
we're agreeing with you. We're agreeing with you, Lena, on both fronts, right? One, we should consider what Hans is saying, and 2, he ought to have put it in a form we could all see it at the same time, but doesn't. Okay, that's a different thing.
Yes.
And the third thing, I'm agreeing with Sankishan that what we can do is this: we merge this, which is just really an updated definition for one part in the glossary, and then we pay attention to what Hans is saying, and subject to how we think about that, we then make more changes to the documentation. So we are promising, for the record, not to ignore what Hans has written, and we'll have a look at it and see how it affects the content that we have. Is that okay?
Yes. For me, that's fine. I'm sorry he's not online to give, of course, because I cannot talk on behalf of.
No, you don't need to. It's okay. So there's a sort of. Are you logged into the GitLab environment at the moment, Alina, or not?
No, because I'm on my laptop and here this.
Okay. Well, let me for the. No problem. I'll do this as you can see in front of you all. So I'm going to break protocol a little. I'm going to change the reviewer process to.
If not, like I could approve this afternoon because I will drive home in a couple of hours. So.
Okay. Well, if you could do that, if you can do that, then I think when you approve it, if I click the set to auto merge, which subtracts me as a blue button there, I think I'll take myself off. That then it'll go auto merge. I think. Is everybody gonna?
Yeah. So I could approve it like this afternoon around 6 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
So.
And all just to reassure you, all that's happening is that one paragraph is changing in the glossary. That's all this merge does. It doesn't do anything more substantive than that. So if I do that, okay. So now when you do the check,
let me see if I can share a second. This document, because it's actually literally one page.
Is it? Okay, that's surprising. Do you want me to stop presenting, or you should be able to come in over the top?
Yes. Let me find it first.
I just hope that this UN GitLab environment is not a barrier to Hans actually submitting an issue and instead choosing to share documents. Because as we all know, this is such an easy interface to deal with.
I mean, he can edit and comment. He's commented before, right? So he's got the access rights to raise an issue.
I remember he had access issues that got resolved over a meeting at some point. So I think I've seen comments from him.
Oh, again, I can do this while we're watching, while Alina's getting the content ready. We can check to see Hans is a developer, and what does developer give us? So he can contribute. I think that means he can raise issues and comments and so on and so on. I think that's
you can also
you're the same, Kishan. You're a developer as well, and you've raised issues, yeah?
Yeah.
So I found it. Wait a second. Now I will have to share it.
It's all good. Tell me if you need me to stop sharing. Okay, good. I think you can replace me. That's it. Good. Oh, in fact, we get my screen at the same time, sort of like it's a participant. Fantastic. Still a bit blurry.
So this is what we have.
Okay, it's better.
If you want, I can forward it to you afterwards. I don't mind. It was nothing private, but I just told you to copy and paste it in the comments. Otherwise, it's not. So this is the changes he's proposing. These are the changes. Digital identity. It finds a legally.
Okay. I think it still makes sense for us to merge what we have now and then use Hans' suggestion as a comment to track the changes if we want to discuss and track the changes.
Yeah, I agree. And particularly because I think Hans's this is your version, this is my version. Your version is actually our new version that would be the one after the merge. So it's, in other words, it will make it a much clearer difference, if that makes sense to you, Alina. So Hans is taking our suggested new definition and saying this is how my new definition would differ. So if we put our merge in as we've got it lined up now, if we adopt what Hans is saying, we'll see a very clear difference, a change between the two versions.
So what do you suggest then, so that everybody's happy?
He's expanded he's expanded the language a bit. As was said by Brett, I can live with that. I don't have a problem with that. Joe, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I can live with it. I'm not sure I understand what a trust wrapper is, but that was in the original discussion as well. So, but feature, or I don't know what it is, but I'm not sure what wrapper is.
If you wanted, sorry, go ahead, Elena.
So easy to have a discussion about it, and it really doesn't help.
That we were just trying to avoid the word identifier, and that's why I don't know who came with this. That to be honest, I liked it as well. This idea of using trust wrapper instead of identifier, mainly because of the fact that the European countries were a bit, let's say, not so excited about creating a new identifier.
Yes, that's absolutely right. So the source of that trust wrapper phrase comes from a more lengthy set of paragraphs where we introduce the digital identity anchor and the
if it's something we use everywhere, then that makes sense.
So we've used it elsewhere.
If you've used it elsewhere, then that's fine.
But,
I mean, I'd call it a trust feature, a trust providing feature or something. I don't remember.
Whilst I'm suggesting I'm not suggesting we actually edit anything we're looking at right now, because I think that would do our heads in, right? But what I observe looking at Hans's suggestion, and your comment, by the way, Joe, is that the words functions as a trust wrapper providing, if you were to delete and functions as a trust wrapper and just have registered entity providing functional equivalence, it still works. And then Alina, that last sentence makes it explicitly clear there's no new identifier, right? So we don't whilst we've got the word trust wrapper and we like that idea in the body of the documents we've got, we could actually delete that phrase from the definition.
Unless have you got the trust wrapper in the glossary as well?
I don't think we have, and therein lies the rub, doesn't it? That you kind of have to define a term you've not used before. So it's on this transcript. We can decide if we want to adopt it. But I think what we do is if we can do what we've done for some of the others. We could copy the suggestion from Hans into the sort of comment thread. We can then propose one way of removing a few words that don't need to be there is to remove the trust wrapper bit, because it is essential that no new identifier message that Alina was reinforcing is the
important thing. That is the
I have just sent you an email with this one-page document. So
okay, cool. Thank you. I can do that. I won't do that in real time, but I can do that for the next few days. So that's cool. And I think then Sankashan and I were talking about before you came on a line, Alina and Joe, was not Sankashan's, my eagerness to go into the public review period. And I think we sort of should discuss what that means, right? And what that means is that we are declaring that people can have a look at what we've written and comment on it. And say what they think of it. We think it's sort of ready enough for people to review. It doesn't mean that it's finished, because it's not finished until after the public review and subject to us having closed any issues that people have raised and so on. So we still make changes to the content in the period of public review, but we're just declaring the kind of I think it's 60 days. It starts from whenever we declare it starts from. So I'm very keen to sort of, when we've all are comfortable, press start on that.
I'd agree with that. I think that's a good idea.
And that's good. So what I've encouraged that tomorrow I'll be able to do a call tomorrow with the Pacific time zone, which is the awful o'clock for Alina, like 2 a.m. in the morning or something horrible. So I'm not expecting you on the call, Alina, but the Canadians are joining me, it seems. There was a little email flurry saying that we've got a call tomorrow. So hopefully I'll get some more people sort of saying, yes, why not? We'll comment on what we see and you can kind of process it. We'll see what they say. Very cool. Now, the things we still have, it's probably worth having a look at the issues. Shall I share my screen again? How do I do that? Resume presenting. Oh, look at that. I think I get that. Boom. And then you can do the same to me if you want, Alina. So these are the issues that we were discussing. So what will happen when we do this merge request? To your point, Sankashan, I think I've got it automatically closing the issue. Are you suggesting that I should not automatically close the issue?
Me?
My suggestion is let this issue get closed with the merge and then open a new issue citing the merge and the feedback from Hans. That way you have a clean way of tracking everything.
2 thumbs up. Thank you. These other 2 issues are slow burners, I think is one way to think about them. I think I raised this one, Alina, when you weren't on one of the calls. This relates to work that, and I've got a typo in there, the TRQP, not TQRP. I'll change that on the fly because I can't handle it now. I can see the typo. TRQP is the Trust Registry Query Protocol. So that's a way of asking questions of a trust registry, and it's a protocol that was defined by a group of people in Trust over IP, which is part of one of the Linux Foundation's areas curated under the Linux Foundation. It's interestingly close to the sort of thing that we are wanting to do, but I don't think we necessarily have to adopt it, right? I think actually, I suspect if Steve Capel has a look at this, he'll realize certain things would have to change inside the UNTP spec if we were to use TRQP.
I think that's right, John, because having looked at it myself, and the underlying language, which is called the Turkle, TRQL, not the turtle, the Turkle, it actually has a whole lot of fairly fundamental differences, and I don't think we need to. I think ours is a lot simpler. Hopefully.
Okay, cool. So we've got a bit of expansion by courtesy of Sankashan on kind of what that looks like. I then took his ASCII diagram and made it a mermaid just because I must have had a few minutes on my hands. I didn't add any value by doing that. But I think that's so. Joe, if you get a moment, if you want to sort of put that thought in, I think that would be useful to have that in as a third party sort of view of another person's view on this particular thing. The other issue that we had open is another technical, interesting rabbit hole about this. Sorry, Sankashan.
It wasn't me.
I know it was you.
I think we are amused by the description of this as a rabbit hole.
Yes.
Turtles going down the rabbit hole, maybe.
Yeah, but I think so. This is sort. It's not related. It's somewhat related. It's the same class of interesting opportunity problem as the one that Steve Capel is exploring publicly with UNTP at the moment on this idea of SDJOT. Right, yeah. There are technologies that are being developed that are available where we can consider whether they add value to what we're doing, and this is sort of one of those issues. My strategy, I think, is going to be we get a stable release. We're happy with what we got, and we make a decision to bring new things in when we think they add value. We don't need to bring this in short term. I think it presents a surprisingly different impact on the way things work. Is that right, Sankashan? It would mean we'd have to think about wallets in a different way and stuff.
Yes, and I think one of the challenges we are facing in many of these issues that are coming up is that they are being driven by ideas around needs that we have not yet faced in real life. So yes, it is possible that at some point in time when you have a steady system up and there and available, someone will come and say, why are you not publishing DIA artifacts like linked VP? Fantastic. If you have a need, as long as the architecture does not require upheaval, we should be able to do that. And I think this is a similar line of design thinking that should also go towards the trust registry query protocol. Like, if there is a need, if somebody wants it, fair enough, we'll figure out how to do it. But right now, I don't see a reason why we should invest a lot of time, given that we don't even have a system stood up to begin with.
Yes, we're burdening a system we don't even have yet with more functionality.
Isn't this the point? Is that we will need to publish our own product protocol at some stage, and we're not saying we won't support the TRQP.
No, that's right.
You don't need to support it. You don't need to only support it. If you know, we don't need to anchor ourselves to it.
Yes.
I mean, let me rephrase it. I think it was a fairly hardline statement that I made. It is quite possible that as Joe, you, John, and others are thinking through how the architecture evolves, you decide that TRQP is the right approach because it seems to have the greatest traction across the universe at this point. Fantastic. Then but we haven't reached a state of where we have the architecture, the protocols, and the reference system designed to be able to make some progress. What we have is a whole bunch of high-level documentation, I would say, at this point. Very high level.
Yeah,
I agree. And as we say, if it becomes useful, we might do this as the primary protocol, or it might be a subsequent protocol. But it should be able to, because it's so abstracted. I mean, it is really very, very abstract. It's nothing specific to it at all. You could imagine that it should be able to be used, but we don't need to do it now anyway.
Is there? I'm thinking about putting, in a sense, these two topics into the parking lot or into a waiting room, saying, well, these are interesting, but we're not working on them right now. But if this conversation comes up, we go back to them, right? So I don't want to close it, but I kind of feel it has a different status, if you like, as a type of issue. So should I look into maybe giving it some status that says it's not closed, but it's not active at the moment?
I mean, you could probably add something like a technical backlog or a label of that sort and keep it that way, so that if an issue is supposed to be implemented in some priority order, then it is no longer a technical backlog and it becomes part of reference implementation, things like that.
Yep. Okay. I'll sure the recording is doing this for me, but I'll take an action to see what I can do to affect that, so that we have it ready, but it's not a sort of front of mind as an open issue to resolve. The other thing I think, Alina, we can probably share in general terms is the discussion about the registradores and pilots and stuff that we hope will shortly realize kind of active participation from the Spanish team. We
hope so. Actually, I don't like to use this wording. I'm sure about that.
Good. I actually like that confidence, because I mean, we know that it's so it's being discussed with. So I heard the word I can't pronounce the Spanish. I'm so sorry. Collection or something.
Yes.
Is that the name for the board? Is that is that what board means?
Colegio is like association. Like board is junta. And probably he said junta no board del colegio, which means like the board of our association. It's not a college, because a college is a school, but colegio, it could also mean school in Spanish perfectly.
But that's an interesting point. I went to the Registradores site, the registradores.org site, and it came up with a school. It did a translation. Google did the translation from Spanish to English before I selected English from the website. And it came up with school. It's
the same as lawyer's bar. We would say that in Spanish, Colegio de Abogados, lawyer's bar, or notaries bar, or association, Colegio Notarial. So this is the word they use. I don't know.
Cool. So there's a meeting, I think it's on Monday of next week. where we hope to have
Usually the meetings are on Tuesday, but we need the document on Monday we would need to
submitted for
present
the
it to the board on Monday. So of course, they study it on Monday, and then on Tuesday they just approve it directly because everything has to go through.
So Steve, Alina, and I are working on a 2-pager for submittal to that discussion, and the 2-pager is effectively a very short summary of the cost benefit analysis, or the cost benefit of participating in the pilot. And scope is participating in the pilot. It's not if you build an operational system and integrate with all your back office and everything else. So hopefully that'll get some real activity going fairly shortly after that Tuesday meeting.
Yes.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I know it's not certain, right? It's not certain, but it's certainly a good thing, and I'll appropriately explain that to the Canadians as well, and offer that if they need something like that, once we've got a template, as Steve called it, for the description of the pilot activity, then we can probably reposition that for Canada as well.
And then the next step would be to create a team and to start working as the project. As I mentioned, I think we would have to have this ready. I don't know, because the timeline is also important, considering that the plenary will be beginning of November, and of course by, I don't know, maybe we said 2 months, 6 weeks.
I said 6 weeks, and then I could see the pain in Steve's eyes, and we went to 2 months. And I think he's written 3 months in the statement of work.
Why? Because he thought maybe you were very optimistic, or
I'm always, as Joe would criticize me, I'm always very optimistic. I'm optimistic but realistic to some extent. That the amount of work that needs to be done isn't that large, but the amount of coordination, communication, waiting for approvals and everything else stretches out the time to do any project. And that's, we're dealing with a project across the world, so we might expect that there might be some delays. Yes, but certainly the deadline for November is very real, and I'm sure, even in my overconfident nature, we will be well finished before November on the first of the rounds of the pilot, and hopefully iterating on other areas by that point.
Let's say hopefully beginning of autumn, or I don't know, maximum.
Yes, or spring, as I like to call it.
September, I don't know.
Yeah, August, September. So when you finish your holidays in August, hopefully we'll have everything kind of ready to go. So that would actually mean, because most of Europe obviously has August in particular, but July, August as a break, we would need to be pretty well there by sometime in early July.
To be honest, and being realistic, as you say, in Spain in August, I don't know.
Nothing much happens.
That would work.
Yeah, I agree. I understand.
Because people go on holidays massively, so
same here for January.
Everything is on standby usually in August, and then beginning of September.
Same in Australia, but in January is our January is our August.
Okay.
Okay, that was all I had really for today. Is there any? I don't know if there's anything else people wanted to sort of raise and discuss. I'm very happy if we want to carry on.
Yes, I would like to know, so on what we have to focus. Okay, I know that there are so many things which we have to focus on, but we have to go step by step. So then we will approve this merge, and then we can open, as Sankishan was saying, another issue regarding the concept.
Yep. And so that process, so the merge, you can look at this afternoon when you can look at your laptop, whatever. I can raise another issue. My dogs are barking again. Sorry. I can raise another issue with the comments that you sent me from Hans, and I think we can, in that issue, we can, if we wish to, suggest even removing the trust wrapper phrase if that's something we think is appropriate. And then we can create a merge that says, let's update the new version once you've approved the current merge. And
I'm not so sure about removing the trust wrapper, because we would have to find something else instead. That would be identifier also.
You've every right to have the concern, Alina. So don't let me dissuade you from that, right? But the reason I'm saying that is that in that definition, in the trust wrapper so if we go to the changes and have a look at what you've got can you share that document again from Hans, and I'll sort of talk to I'll stop sharing, and you can,
Yes,
if it's possible for you to share it. I want to sort of point out the way I'm thinking, not that means it's right, but the way I'm thinking about stuff.
okay.
My only concern about trust wrapper is it introduces a concept which isn't then defined.
Yeah.
And that's fine. If we want to use it, then we should define it. If it's not necessary in here, I think, John, you did actually say it was unnecessary. We can redefine this without that.
So my suggestion, and I can put up. So what I'll do is I'll take verbatim the comment, the text from Hans. I'll put it in the comment as is, no change, and then I'll suggest another view on this, which is that if you remove the words and functions as a trust wrapper,
yes,
so
because then
the
people would ask, okay, so what is a trap, or what is
to Joe's
functioning like
point,
a trust?
right. So what we're left with then is it says it binds a legally recognized identifier to a decentralized identifier, controlled by the registered entity, providing functional equivalents to registry extracts in digital environments. And then it says the DIA does not constitute a new legal identifier, does not alter the legal. So we're covered, right? We make it very explicit that there's no new identifier and it has legal equivalents to existing things.
Correct. That is also very correct. Yes.
And to Joe's point, we don't introduce a phrase that people may say, what's a trust wrapper then? I think the trust wrapper phrase is nice in the context in it which it's used in the text of the document. It's a nice phrase to use. And I think it creates a picture in people's minds that's quite useful. Like we also use the word envelope, I think, at some point as well.
I don't want to be a problem, but the other word that worries me in that sentence potentially is just really, I mean, not for us, but for other people reading it, is binds. Yeah, it can be associates or.
And why do you worry about binds?
Because you and I know that binding has a particular meaning.
But it does, doesn't it? But it might.
I mean, and then the question is, is that then once and done, or is that something that you can change? I mean, I would just say as associates or something like that. It's just the word that worries me, because I've seen it before.
So, quick clarifying question.
Or whatever. It maps or associates legally recognized identifier to the decentralized identifier, which is used actively. The whole point about the decentralized identifiers is the thing that you're going to be using.
Yes, but I understand the sensitivity. Of course, Joe, you're right. We've both seen this word used, and it has certain weight, right?
We could as well links instead of binds. Might be similar, or cryptographically links.
I want to. Okay, it's like a debate, right? We're sort of teasing the thinking here, right?
We should do it in Spanish. I think it's probably a better way of doing it.
Words. Let's write it in Spanish. What I want to suggest as a sort of counter argument is, I actually like the strength of the word binds in this context, and the reason I like the strength of the word binds in this context is this idea that it's a strong coupling between two things, and they're cryptographically wrapped up. We all know that you can't change the way that the content of the verifiable credential, it's a tamper evident seal and so on. So almost by definition, by putting these two things in, you've kind of
I agree with you, John, and I do understand. The only other thing is, I should stop.
That's okay. Keep going.
Just stop looking at this. And the question is it uniquely binds?
I fear the word uniquely.
I do fear that, but I think it may have to be uniquely, because it has to uniquely be able to.
Before all of you go to unique and binding and all of that.
We got another rabbit hole idea.
hang on, just one clarification. So I have two paragraphs that I see on screen. One that is your version and another that is my version. I'm guessing my version is the one that Hans
Hans
is
is used.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Your version is the one that is pending a merge after Alina reviews and it will get auto-merged. Is that correct?
Yes.
In that yet to be merged section, we already use the term binds, we already use the term trust wrapper. So
Yes.
if you want to walk back from these two terms, then you actually cannot merge what you have.
Yeah, you can.
We can
You can merge it.
merge and then do another change.
afterwards. Yeah, yeah.
Mea culpa.
It's just the next version.
Next release has a better version yet.
Okay. You would consider that you are the idea that we were talking earlier, that we merge what we have right now and then refine it further.
It's further,
Then
yeah.
realizing that binds and trust wrapper are very contentious terms to have.
So I now we're going to shut my door again because the dogs are barking outside.
All right, John, we don't hear them. It's okay.
It's very hard for me to concentrate though, Joe.
Oh, sorry, mate.
I have very
barking dogs. I don't hear
very
barking
big
dogs.
dogs. Two big hunting dogs.
Yeah.
And they're very stupid and they bark very loudly.
Lovely.
Anyway, the point I wanted to make about uniqueness, because I think this is important, is and I look to Alina for the correct approach here, but we are relying on the authoritative registrar and their process to do their stuff, put it simply, which includes that they create unique identifiers. That will be a self-evidently true process you'd expect the registrar to do. If they don't release unique identifiers for the things that they're a registrar for, they've got a world of pain in what they do. So there's a kind of, and we don't.
I'm not worried about the uniqueness of the record. I'm interested in whether in fact we're going to allow more than one DID associated with one record, and that's idea. We've settled on a simple as possible, but no simpler kind of thinking. So one did per DIA. Well, it doesn't say that. It says recognized, identified.
It says A. Yes,
well,
exactly.
That doesn't mean to say that it's the only one.
Yes. Okay. Well,
it could be multiple. If you wanted to reflect that, that's a choice. It may not be sensible within the glossary. That's a design decision we need to probably.
But doesn't
make.
the letter A mean a singleton?
No.
Well, if you had
multiple DIAs.
Yeah, then the glossary definition is wrong. If you have two DIDs, you'd have to say one or more. You can't just have A.
Oh, okay. It's just. Yeah, it's possible. Anyway, okay. I mean, it's a.
But I guess this was an open discussion because I think, as far as I remember, we said that if we would link it to several, then it would mean that automatically we place them on the same level, or like we create a sort of equality, which is not on us to create this equality or not among these different DIDs. Or
all right. No, that's fine.
It gives us a bit of a headache. So we did have words that gave us more flexibility once upon a time, Joe, in that definition.
Yeah.
But sort of many to many kind of thing. But we decided not to have that.
No, that's fine. That's what. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. It's a very exciting paragraph. Yes. I think that is that okay. Alina, is there anything else that you wanted to?
No, just to make clear that we are going to approve the merge as it is, then open a new issue regarding this concept, and then to decide which is the following step we will have to go to prepare for the next meeting in a couple of weeks. Then again, and
my suggestion, subject to our view online, is that if we see online that we've agreed asynchronously, in other words, we put a new issue up, you've had a look at it, and everyone's given it a thumbs up, we can do the merge outside of the meeting. We can, as long as we've got the right review and approval, it's okay, right?
Okay.
Cool. All right. That's all from me. Sankshan, Joe, anything else you wanted to tell us?
No, all good.
What's the Spanish for va bene, Alina?
Todo bien.
Todo bien. Okay.
Todo bien, de momento, for now.
For now.
Okay. Todo bien.
Travel well tomorrow, John.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great evening and day.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Muchas gracias. Thank you very
Muchas-
much. Have a lovely day.
Indeed.